Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back. My name is Coach RJ, and here I have my wife, Jazz. So today is interesting topics. What this topic is guarding your eyes and your ears, relating to not only like what we see on TV and what we listening to on TV, is also outside of that. The people we around, um, the things that we see, outside of your entertainment, the entertainment industry.
So let's start with what we seeing and hearing on TV, and then influence in music. Let's talk about that then. So what we placing in our ears. Um, I'm just thinking about as I'm saying that how people had a big old their ears plugged, and it's plugged heavy, like so nothing else is coming in but what you're listening to. So if we're not mindful of what we're listening to, or just be mindful of what's being plugged into your ears, um, because that's heavy. Me just thinking about that, like how people got the big old headphones, and it's just so loud in their ear. So it's influence, whether we feel like it is or not, whether we want it to or not. It's influence in some type of way. So just being mindful for what that is.
The best example I can use is when just imagine when you were younger and you listening to, like, at the time, your favorite rap artist, and a lot of us, some of us, wasn't even listening to um
The lyrics.
wasn't even listening to the lyrics. We were just listening to the beat and things like that. And automatically, as we constantly and continuously listen to the music, we know the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. So the beat
And
was first. You heard the beat.
so as we, listening to it, and we just reciting these lyrics and things like that, and our parents, they get on us about it. Do you know what that means? Do you understand what that is? And so on and so forth. And now let's go ahead and fast forward to now. And now we're parents, and we're saying the same thing, and we really look and we really paying attention. That's why a lot of rap artists that's really a perfectionist about their craft and their work. They always tell you, and Tupac said it, they always tell you, listen to the lyrics. What I'm saying is that listen to the lyrics and listen to what they're saying. And you really have to be mindful of that, because you gotta, like, think, like, I'm not living my life like this. I'm not, shooting to kill, bang bang. I'm not suicidal or nothing like that. So that puts you in a place of the
Influence.
in those, what I'm saying, in those thoughts,
It's
in those,
influencing you to
and it's
think
influence you
when
to
we
think
those
negative
ways.
and think those ways, and it's not and it's not doing the opposite of
Mm-hmm.
what you should be doing. And that play a big part, in a lot of people's lives when it comes to mental depression, anxiety, frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you listening to? Are you listening to something that, ease the mind, body, soul, and spirit, or are you listening to something that's, eating that, depressing, frustrating, stressing, the mind, body, soul, and spirit? So, it's very important we keep in mind also with our kids. I mean, let's relate it to our kids in a way of love, of course, but not just in a direction of, like, cut that crap off. I don't want to hear that. I just give them an idea, like,
Explain to them
hey,
why.
explain to them, like,
That's what.
hey, do you,
Yeah.
what is he saying? That's how
Yeah.
that's
What
how I
does
do
that
my
mean?
son. I say, hey, what is he saying? What did he say? He what? Okay, what did that mean? Like, I need to understand. And
That you
he'll, yeah,
understand what
I,
you're
I I need to
saying.
understand, and I need for you to understand it too. Oh, dad, it's just, you just don't get it. That's why I'm trying to get it, because I need to understand this, and then you need to understand. And then my last question is going to be, is that how you live your life now? What type of influence is that putting up? Is that putting a positive influence in your life or a negative?
Is that how you live your life now? oh, are you wanting to change your life to be what they're talking about? Because you so deep in it, like you like it. And I want to piggyback off what you just said, because some people are gonna say, well, that stuff don't influence me. I hear that all the time. It's not gonna do nothing to me. It don't influence me. But it does in some type of way. Nobody's saying that because they're rapping or singing about depressing things that you're gonna be depressed. But it does take you over time. It is gonna take you onto a path or onto thoughts leading into why you're not, you don't have to be depressed, but why you're angry, why you mad about your relationship now, stuff like that. It don't have to exactly be what they're rapping. Now you're thinking of that. So if they're rapping about drugs and stuff like that, I'm not about to go be a drug dealer. Okay, but I'm not thinking that as a woman, but then it influences me to say, I wonder if I had a drug dealer boy. Like, that's what we're saying. Right. Like, it influences you whether you want it to or not. Not literally about what they're doing. It don't have to be literal, but it is. Even if you start having thoughts about what they're saying, being angry about that or feeling a way about what they're saying, it still influences you to feel a way. Everything is influential, just like they say everything is a distraction.
Right. And then also too, we got to keep in mind that a lot of these a lot of these artists, again, if you pay attention to the lyrics, it's a cry out for help on their behalf. And what's covering up and what's really like blocking you from hearing that, if you're not a person that listens to the lyrics, is the beat. It could be a nice sweet beat. You can, you know what I'm saying, and then they could just go off like, I feel like jumping off and then that's you, and then you like singing it and jump like that. You like, whoa, like these people are crying out for help, and this is the way how they express it through their lyrics. So it's very important that we pay attention to that. Like, we need to pay attention to that and keep that in mind too.
Yeah, because there may be parts that you can relate to, but rapping and singing the whole song, it starts influencing you again on stuff that you didn't even, oh, that part wasn't for me. Or this part, what was that saying people was doing recently and they still be saying, or whatever he said? Because it's like, I heard what I wanted to hear. Such and such in the song or whatever he said. They say what they heard and they're making it a joke. This is what he said, but this is what I heard. Or this is what they said, but this is what I heard. Like, it's funny, but it's not. We have to guard our eye and ear gates. Another example is like how the women speaking about their bodies and okay, yeah, you're not gonna go be a stripper. They talking about when they was a stripper or a dancer and not like, but and you like, I'm not about to go do that, but what is it doing? It influences you to start feeling like you have to show your body, or let me show a thigh, let me show some cleavage. Like, that is what we're meaning. We're not meaning literal. So like I said, for people that be like, oh, that stuff don't influence me, it don't do nothing to me. Yes, it do. Because when you go to sleep too, that stuff plays in your dreams, your visions. Like, this is serious. We gotta stop. I mean, not stop, but life is not a game, and we can't treat it as such. We only get one, and we have to utilize it and use it purposefully. So let's talk about our eyes. I feel like I don't even watch TV like that no more. I'm gonna be honest. I'm thinking about when my family watched those, what are they called? What is it? Action fantasy stuff like that. Watching that and seeing seeing and hearing the subliminal messages, like, it does something to me. So I can't even look at it. I just leave the room now. It frustrates me. So we don't have to go deep into that, but that's just an example. It's an influence. It sells a fictional fake, and I feel like in your mind makes you think life is not what it is, and that's not okay, because it influences you to think now it's just a fairy tale, and that's not true, and that's not okay. So that's just one example.
Also, I'll say another example too is that some of these movies you have to really, like, one thing, even on TV shows, like, I remember I was watching an episode of Family Matters, and when Steve had created this virtual reality headset. Now, I don't know when the prototype or when the product was really officially getting started or launched. I don't know nothing about that.
But they
All I
use
know is it's here now.
and they use
And
those type
yeah,
of things to not desensitize us, but to get us ready for, like, oh, we throw it out here now or show them now, then when it
yeah,
comes, they're not going to be shocked or like, what is happening? So
exactly.
they
And
know
then
what they're doing.
I seen shows like from like back then when I was growing up when they was talking about when I forgot what show it was, but they had a set of car keys and it was just like alarm car reverse back. Now you got cars is like that, Lexus, Mercedes, stuff like that. You got to pay attention to that. And I'm just saying those are examples that's like okay, good examples, but I'm saying it as like
It's
it's there,
influence.
it's influence or whatever.
Influence.
Like it's a lot of things that influence or whatever when you see or whatever when somebody feel a certain type of way and then they put you in that thought of like, oh yeah, I remember I'll be having a lot of days feeling like that. Oh, maybe I should do this or whatever. Like, when it comes to like some horror movies and things like that, it's an influence. And
horror movies and
I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to make it to the point where it's like, oh, just stop watching movies. I'm trying to give you eye opener to pay attention to what you're watching, what your kids are watching and listening to, and then also especially with the kids because like you want to let them know, okay, that was just a movie, it wasn't real. That's that. Keep reminding them like that's not your life. You're not living that life. Do not try to convert your mindset and put your mindset in that life because you're not about that life. Like that's not your life. Your life is this, that, and the third, and just those reminders, or whatever.
And that's what it'll do. When we watching those scary movies, I think thrillers too. And if your kids watching and they frightened, they scared. That's the same thing we went through when we was younger. And they asking all these questions. Also, I used to like the thriller and the horror movies, but what I realized, thrillers are not. Or I went from horror to thriller, and thriller is not okay either because thrillers start making you think, what if this was my life? Like you said, that you start thinking things like, oh, this could happen. Oh, that could happen. And
right.
It's influence, and it didn't have to be. Like you didn't have to be thinking of that. I don't need to be thinking
or you probably
that's going to happen to me.
Or you probably that person, or well, not that person, but you probably mention it, or you probably know someone that be like, "Oh, girl, you gotta hurry up and get up in the car because they be kidnapping people over here at the grocery store."
Like,
and then they're like,
shopping.
"Girl, what are you talking about? Like, I got that thing on me."
They be like, "You didn't see?"
Yeah, you didn't see. No, yeah, I got that thing on me right here. Like,
see stuff that's gonna make
you see
me
that
think.
movie? Nah, I ain't see that movie. And if I did see it, that will put me in the mindset of like, okay, I know I need to carry this, that, and a third.
But it's putting you in the mindset of fear.
It's not putting you in the mindset of fear. And I mean,
it could be awareness.
In the way of awareness. So
it could be awareness, but a lot of people go straight to fear. And then, like, oh, we can't be outside at night. Oh, we can't, like, God told us to live life.
And then also too, with hearing things like this is like not even movies and nothing like that, like people. Yeah, my granny, my granny told me some wise things, and she told me don't always listen to what you hear. If it happened, okay, that's when it happened. People can sit up here and sell you a dream and then tell you go ahead and go to bed and go to sleep. Then turn around, you like, yo, I've been having the same dream for the longest, and I'm still who I am. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, in other words, is that don't always listen or pay attention to what you hear.
What's that saying? Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. I don't know, y'all. Y'all know I'm always messing up some sayings. What is it? And it always be in the moment I mess it up. But believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. That's what I think it is. Correct me. Y'all put it in the comments because I know. I already know how I do with these sayings.
But yeah, and when she said that, I took that to heart. And for example, like at the store and I was transferring out and they kept telling me like, oh yeah, they pushed back your transfer date. Such and such wants you to come and talk to her. And and I already have it in my head. And I already know when I check my email, it's saying I'm going to be leaving. Okay. So when they used to say stuff like that, I just look at them with a straight face, like, okay, well, till that day come, my email say I will be leaving. So
since we on the subject of people, like hearing people and seeing people as well. So I wanted to hit on being mindful of your situation, like what you're going through in the moment. What is the influence, or what happens next, I feel like determines your thinking. So if you're going through something, whether it's bad, good, but you call, like say you have a problem and then you call someone, we got to be mindful who we calling, or again what we're hearing or seeing thereafter. It can help influence or determine the outcome of the situation. So if you're going through something bad and then you turn on this music that is going to keep you stuck in that whatever mindset in the moment, is that helping you or is it harming you? Also, when you call people or talk to people, you know you have a situation. At this point, I know who to call for what situations and all that. So if you don't know and you just like, I need to call somebody, I feel like we do know, because consciously you're calling somebody because you're wanting to vent more so. Sometimes it is for advice, but when you calling somebody because you're trying to vent, you're gonna call the person that's gonna agree to what it is. So how is that influencing you thereafter? And if you are calling somebody for advice with your best interest at heart and you call the vent, they're gonna tell you the truth in the situation. So being mindful of who we're sharing our thoughts to, because that can influence the outcome of your situation, and that will help influence it, whether it's good or bad.
And also, like again, like I like saying these examples because in our family we do have like some crazy folks, and my granny used to always tell me like, do not call him unless you want the problem to be handled. And I was just like, and I was a teenager, and I was just like, what is she talking about? And then when I, was wanting to call one of my aunts or whatever, and it was like, nope, don't call her unless you want that situation to be handled. And I was like, man, my auntie ain't like that. Like once I got hip to understand what she was saying. And when you see that person, like, that family member, I'm saying it again as an example, you like, yo, I didn't even know that I didn't even know she was like this.
Grandma told you.
And it was like, grandma told you. So and yeah, it's just keep in mind the know who to call, like my wife said. Know who to call.
Where's the advice that you're seeking? Where is it coming from?
Right, where is it coming from?
Whether it's a movie you go watch, a song you go listen to, a person you go call.
And that's funny you say the movie, because like I don't know if people still do this now. I haven't done it in a long time, but I know people used to go watch a movie or whatever. And like, for example, I'm not taking a shot at Tyler Perry. He came out with some great movies. It was I Could Do Bad by Myself or something like that. And my roommate and his girlfriend, they went to go see it. Then he come back telling us, man, I'm about to change my life. I'm like, and then like the next week, just he doing the same old thing. I'm like, so that movie gassed you up. So now you went back. I'm like, for the moment, I'm like, man, look.
Listen,
you crazy.
This is serious.
Like, this is serious. Like, we really have to be mindful. I'll be real with you. Like, sometimes, like, when we speak, again, this is about the ears. Like, we speak, it's like we get it, but we don't get it, which is fine. It's good. So sometimes you need to hear it in a different form, in a different way for you to get it and for you to understand. That's how come a lot of us, we repeat a lot of things. We repeat it and we say it in a different way, a different format. Sometimes you might say it metaphorically or whatever. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get it. And that's another key part too.
You can control what you're feeding yourself, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. If somebody turn on the TV or have something going on, that don't mean you have to listen to it. You can walk away from it. On social media, that's a big one. In your feed, you can control what you're seeing.
Yeah, you can control that.
Unfollow people.
Yep.
You still friends with them on Facebook. I know you can unfollow them so they don't even pop up in your feed. I unfollow people if it's certain things that they're even posting, because it's like their mind is there, and I'm not trying to see that. I see where your mind is. I don't want to be looking at videos like that. Like what? So you could control what's in your feed on all these social media platforms. I know now they having where it suggests things that people that you follow is looking at and all that. But again, we can control it, because at that point, if you like, well, that's all I'm seeing on my feed, stop logging in. Log in. If I'm logging in, it's for a reason. I'm saying something. God want me to say something, and I'm saying it, and I get off, or I check messages and get off. Like you don't have to be looking at those things or hearing those things. I hear people say that often, but we can't just help it. We can't help it because it's just around us. Yes, you can help it. Like we definitely can help it. Again, our mind, our spirit is stronger and more in control than our flesh. Yeah. And if you having issues where you feel like you can't control it and you just want to look at it, something about it is just making you want to see it or think about that thing, you need to talk to God. Why am I wanting to look at the shade room every day? Like, why is that a goal when I wake up? Or why is that the first thing that I feed myself, or it does something to me when I see that? Like, that's a serious question. And getting to the root of what's happening or why you thinking like that or feeling that. This was good. I feel like it kind of led us to that. So we can control what we hear and see. We are strong. Our body, our flesh has no power. The mind and the spirit, which the spirit should have the most power or be the strongest, because our spirit controls what our mind thinks and our mind controls what our body does. That is the order, or the way I know God showed me it's intended. Your spirit, man, your spirit should be the highest. Your spirit is the strongest, so it tells your mind what to think. My spirit is telling my mind what it's going to think. My spirit is telling my mouth what it's going to say. My spirit is telling my body what it's going to do, not the other way around. Okay, I'm done with my little rant. So that's going to be it for this video, you guys. We pray you receive and understand what we're saying. Again, if you have where you feel like you don't have control of what you're seeing and hearing and things like that, just take it back to God. And it's baby steps. You got to start with one thing at a time. I know when I didn't feel like I had an issue big like that, but I was like, God, remove all the distractions from me. And that's why I mentioned earlier, like, I can't even watch TV, because I realized that time, they're like, why I can't watch it? Oh, I asked God to remove the distractions. So he was removing not even what I'm seeing, but what I'm hearing, because those are two major things, our eyes and our ears, the intake of that. So we pray that y'all receive this message, and so share it with someone who may need it. Like, comment, let us know. Talk to us in the comments. Let us know your thoughts.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
We love y'all, and y'all have a great day.